Welcome to Zoe Stories. My boss ordered me to dress like a woman. Daniel Gray's life was a finely tuned machine. At 34, he was the epitome of a corporate professional, always on time, impeccably dressed, and perpetually buried in work. His role as a mid-level manager at Crestline Creative, a top advertising agency in the city, demanded excellence, and Daniel delivered without fail. Yet for all his success, there was an emptiness in his life, a routine that felt more like a treadmill than a journey. Daniel's colleagues respected him but found his unyielding perfectionism intimidating. In the break room, whispers often revolved around his stiff demeanor. "Does he ever loosen up?" someone would joke. Daniel heard the comments but shrugged them off. He had a reputation to uphold. His personal life was equally regimented. A small, minimalistic apartment reflected his no-frills approach to life. Friends, few. Hobbies, none. Daniel had buried himself in work, convinced that career success would fill the void inside. But as he stood at his desk on a chilly Monday morning, nursing his third cup of coffee, he couldn't shake the nagging feeling that something was missing. His thoughts were interrupted by the sound of high heels clicking against the floor. Miranda Chase, the agency's flamboyant CEO, swept into the office like a force of nature. Dressed in a crimson power suit and matching lipstick, she radiated confidence. "Team meeting in 5, she announced, her voice cutting through the hum of the office. When everyone gathered in the glass-walled conference room, Miranda introduced an initiative that sent waves of surprise through the team. "We're calling it the Role Reversal Challenge," she began. "For 1 week, everyone here will step into someone else's shoes, literally or metaphorically. You'll swap roles, personas, or even responsibilities. The goal? To build empathy, break boundaries, and reignite our creative spark." Daniel raised an eyebrow, skeptical but intrigued. Miranda handed out envelopes containing the assignments. When Daniel opened his, he froze. "Dress and act like a woman for the week." Laughter erupted around him. He felt his cheeks flush as Kelly, the bubbly intern, leaned over to read his card. "Oh, this is going to be amazing," she squealed. "Don't worry, Daniel. I'll help you. You're going to look fabulous." He forced a smile, but his mind raced. This wasn't just a team-building exercise. It was a challenge to his very identity. That evening, Daniel sat at home, staring at the envelope on his coffee table. The assignment felt absurd. He could almost hear his father's disapproving voice echoing in his mind. "You're a man. Act like one." The very idea of stepping outside his rigidly defined comfort zone filled him with dread. The next morning, Kelly appeared at his desk with a mischievous grin. "Ready for your transformation?" she asked, holding up a large shopping bag. "I don't have a choice, do I?" he muttered, rubbing his temples. Kelly dragged him into an empty conference room, where she unveiled the contents of the bag: a soft pink blouse, a pencil skirt, a pair of black heels, and a makeup kit. "We'll start small," she said, brushing aside his protests. The first challenge was the heels. Daniel struggled to balance, wobbling like a newborn fawn. Kelly burst into laughter. "This is harder than it looks," he grumbled, gripping the edge of the table for support. "Welcome to our world," Kelly teased. Next came the makeup. Kelly worked with surprising precision, applying foundation, blush, and mascara. As she held up a mirror, Daniel was stunned. His sharp, angular features were softened, his eyes accentuated by the mascara. He didn't look like himself, but that was the point, wasn't it? Finally, Kelly handed him the blouse and skirt. The clothes were snug, emphasizing a lean frame he hadn't paid much attention to before. When he saw his reflection, he felt an uncomfortable mix of vulnerability and curiosity. "You look incredible," Kelly said, beaming. "Now, let's see if the office agrees." Walking into the open office was like stepping into a spotlight. Conversations paused, heads turned, and a ripple of whispers spread. Daniel's heart pounded in his chest. He forced himself to keep walking, each step in the heels feeling like a balancing act on a tightrope. Looking sharp, Danielle joked Sarah, his longtime rival. He braced himself for ridicule, but instead, he was met with compliments, curiosity, and even admiration. By the end of the day, he was surprised to find that the world hadn't ended. As the week progressed, Daniel's initial discomfort began to evolve. With Kelly's guidance, he mastered walking in heels, applying makeup, and carrying himself with an elegance he hadn't known he possessed. Each day brought new challenges and revelations. On Tuesday, he was tasked with leading a brainstorming session. Normally, he dominated these meetings with a sharp, no-nonsense approach. But dressed as Danielle, he found himself listening more, encouraging input from quieter team members. The results? One of the most productive sessions he'd ever led. Later that day, he ventured outside for lunch, still dressed in his new persona. The city streets felt foreign under the scrutiny of strangers' eyes. He ordered a sandwich at a nearby cafe, his voice trembling as he spoke. The barista smiled warmly, treating him no differently than any other customer. "You're braver than you think," Kelly told him afterward. But not every moment was easy. On Wednesday, during a client presentation, a senior executive made a dismissive remark about his appearance. The words stung, leaving Daniel questioning why he'd agreed to this exercise in the first place. Kelly found him afterward, hiding in the stairwell. "Hey," she said softly, "don't let one idiot get to you. You're doing something most people wouldn't have the guts to try." Her words bolstered his resolve. That evening, he decided to fully embrace the challenge. He researched makeup tutorials, practiced walking in heels, and even experimented with different hairstyles. The more effort he put in, the more comfortable he became in his new role. By Thursday, something remarkable happened. His colleagues began treating him differently, not just as Danielle, but as someone approachable, even relatable. Sarah, his rival, struck up a genuine conversation about her struggles balancing work and family. It was a side of her Daniel had never seen before. The week's grand final was a high-stakes pitch to a potential client, a major cosmetics brand. Miranda announced that Daniel would lead the presentation, still in character as Danielle. "You've grown so much this week," Miranda told him. "This is your chance to show them, and yourself, what you're capable of." Standing in the boardroom, Daniel felt a wave of nerves wash over him. He smoothed his skirt, took a deep breath, and began. Instead of the rigid professionalism he usually relied on, he spoke with warmth and authenticity. He shared personal anecdotes, connected with the clients on an emotional level, and presented ideas with a flair that surprised even himself. When the presentation ended, the room erupted into applause. The clients were impressed, not just by the campaign but by Daniel's courage and vulnerability. "Danielle," one of them said, "you've given us a fresh perspective. We're looking forward to working with you." As he left the room, Daniel's chest swelled with pride. He had faced his fears and come out stronger. The following day, the office was abuzz with the news of their successful pitch. Daniel's colleagues cheered as he walked in, and even Sarah gave him a rare compliment. "You've been different this week," she said. "In a good way." Miranda pulled him aside, her usual sharp demeanor softened. "You've done more than just complete the challenge," she said. "You've shown us, and yourself, that there's more to you than meets the eye." That evening, Daniel returned home, standing before the mirror as he carefully removed his makeup and packed away the clothes. The reflection staring back at him felt different. He wasn't just Daniel Gray, the rigid manager. He was someone who had dared to step outside his comfort zone and discovered a deeper, more authentic version of himself. On Monday, Daniel returned to the office in his usual tailored suit, but the way he carried himself was different, lighter, more open. He greeted colleagues with genuine warmth, took time to listen, and even cracked a joke during the morning meeting. Later that day, Kelly handed him a small box. Inside was a delicate silver bracelet. "For Danielle," she said with a wink, "in case you ever want to revisit her." Daniel smiled, slipping the bracelet into his pocket. As he left the office that evening, he caught his reflection in the glass doors. For the first time in years, he didn't see a rigid, perfectionist manager. He saw a man who had faced his fears, embraced change, and come out better for it. The transformation wasn't just about clothes or makeup. It was about discovering the courage to be himself, no matter what. Thank you for joining us on another captivating journey through Zoe's stories. Remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you never miss a tale. Until next time, keep exploring, keep imagining, and keep believing in the magic of storytelling. See you in the next chapter.